There is so much emphasis on the clean water that leaves a wastewater treatment plant or a water resource recovery facility after the waste has been treated. But something happens in that process. We hold on to those solids within the plant, and we've got to do something with them, right? They don't just go away. And that's why I am so excited and honored to be invited to do a video at the San Luis Obispo Water Resource Recovery Facility with Landon. Thank you for having me today.
Yeah, absolutely. My pleasure. Welcome, Sean.
Thank you.
Welcome, YouTube.
Woo! We're going to be talking about solids handling, thickening, digestion, cogeneration even, and dewatering, and Landon is going to be our host.
Yes.
So, Landon, when we're talking about those solids that we've retained in the treatment plant, what would you say, just for the introduction of this video, what would you say is the process in your plant? What do you do with them?
Yeah, we're doing blending of primary sludge and waste activated sludge. We're thickening those sludges prior to anaerobic digestion, using the biogas produced for cogeneration, taking those anaerobically digested sludges and dewatering them in primarily a screw press, but on an as needed basis, we have a belt press.
Oh, nice. So you have both. That's great.
And then after that, they get hauled to a composter for further treatment prior to reuse.
Land application or what have you.
Yep.
Very cool. So can you take us on the first stop?
Oh, I'm ready. Let's do it.
Let's head to thickening.
Cool.
Okay, Landon, here we are at the first stop on the solids handling process in your facility. Can you tell me what I'm looking at right here?
Yeah, sure. So we've got two feed sources into our solids blend tank, waste activated sludge or WAS and primary sludge. We control both of the flows coming into this tank. Waste activated sludge between 5 and 7,000 milligrams per liter is our target in our biological process on the liquid side. And then primary clarification, our expectation in our primary is to hold zero blanket, do not retain any solids for pH and septicity reasons. We're sending about 95K per day into this tank.
95,000 gallons a day?
Yep.
Cool.
Yep.
Very cool. And what about WAS? What's your wasting rate?
Wasting rate between 50 and 70 gallons a minute.
Okay.
Currently. Cool. Within the tank, you guys will see this in a minute, we have two mixing nozzles essentially in the tank that result in a circular motion, keeping these solids fresh, keeping them suspended and not settled, and ensuring a uniform feedstock to our thickener.
Awesome. And what kind of a thickener do you have?
We have it's called a drum thickener.
A rotary drum thickener?
Yeah, or a screw thickener.
Oh, cool.
Yep.
Very cool.
Yep.
Well, let's...
Yeah, want to pop up, we'll take a look. They can see what's happening inside, and then we'll check out the pumps that feed the thickener and the pumps that mix this tank. This is a properly mixed solids blend tank. Looking for that circular pattern, ensuring that all these solids are uniform, blended well before thickening.
All right, Landon, what are we looking at here?
Yeah, on our left here, we've got the pumps that are affording us that roll action within the tank. These are our mixing pumps. Essentially, that blended sludge is drawn off the bottom and then discharged back into the tank into two nozzles afford that spin, that roll within the tank. And on the right, these are positive displacement rotary low pumps. Again, pulled off the bottom of the tank, feed into our drum thickeners. And as you'll see, as everything in wastewater, there's two of each, right? Two mixing pumps, two thickener feed pumps. It never stops, so you have that continual redundancy.
You have the redundancy in case something fails,
exactly.
Right? Absolutely. Cool. Well, let's head over to the drum thickener.
Excellent. How do we thicken sludge? It's twofold. It's a mechanical process and a chemical process. The analogy I use is these polymers, kind of running low here, but we'll change. We have two totes. They're molecularly bound up in this emulsion polymer, and they are allowed to spread and get large because of the water that we've mixed with the polymer. That affords the polymers to bind to the solids, clump them together, flock them together, so they're effective in the drum thickener. You can see how these solids are clumped together, flocculated together in our floc tank. That's a result of proper polymer and water mixture combining with the solids. So these clumps or flocks of solids feed into the drum thickener right here. And you see how the thing is on an angle. It's going up, so all the water falls away, and all the solids are conveyed up and into the thickened sludge hopper. Back to the redundancy too. Sometimes things go wrong. This one's online, this one's not. It affords you guys a chance to see what the insides look like. So this mesh is what holds the solids in, and the water is afforded you a chance to leave and be pumped to the front of the plant. This is the filtrate. All those solids are kept within the drum and pumped to anaerobic digestion. The water that is allowed to escape and leave the solids is pumped back to the front of the plant, back to headworks for treatment in the liquids treatment train. This is what thickened sludge looks like entering into one of our two primary anaerobic digesters.
Okay, so now we are at the anaerobic digester. We've got our thickened solids that are coming into this tank. Now, Landon, for the sake of this video, let's talk 1,000-foot view. I don't want to get into all the little gadgets and gizmos. We will probably do a future video where we get really into detail, but this is just the overview of the solids handling process at your facility. Can you explain to everybody what exactly is happening here and what you're able to accomplish through the anaerobic digestion process?
Yeah, absolutely. The primary goal of anaerobic digestion is volatile solids reduction. How do we achieve that is mixing the tank and heating the sludge within. Our goal is 98 degrees Fahrenheit. Leaving the tank, there's two streams. Gas, which goes to our cogeneration unit or our flare, or solids, sludge, into our sludge holding tank.
Okay, and so with the gas that you're producing, it goes to help actually fuel the heat exchangers and some other power hungry things in your plant, right?
Exactly.
You've closed the loop.
Yeah, the cogen unit at this juncture is producing 150 kilowatts. So it offsets our PG&E electrical bill, huge savings there. And to close that loop, it affords us heat for our heat exchangers to heat the sludge within the tank.
So that you can keep that constant 98 degrees. And that's the mesophilic range, by the way, if you're taking an exam.
Yeah, there you go.
And if you have too much, you flare it off, right?
Of course. Find that balance, right? You don't want to put too much to the flare. Your flare is huge. You don't want to pull too much to the cogen. Your flare is going to go out. So find that balance to sustain the flare, because sometimes it's a little overly windy, too much wind, a little blowout. Don't want to see that. Yeah, doesn't happen very often, because we have the set points over years dialed in to a spot where the cogen can produce as much as it can, but we ensure that we uphold our APCD permit, Air Pollution Control District permit.
Absolutely. And so now we've got a good idea of what's going on here. Can you take us to the place where you mix and heat the sludge so people know what that looks like?
Yeah. All right, so welcome to our digester heating and mixing facility. These blue pieces of infrastructure right here are our heat exchangers. Sludge from both tanks travels into these heat exchangers and it comes in contact with essentially hot metal heated up by the water that's produced by the cogen. To the right, bigger pumps, centrifugal pumps for mixing within these tanks, just like the solids blend tank we saw earlier. It's the same idea. You want to keep the solids mixing. The way I look at it is that we are tending to the herd of our microbiology. So we want to put the feed, in front of the biology that's going to do the work. And how do we do that? We achieve that by mixing the tank all the time. We can change what rate we mix the pumps or mix the tank at. Right now we run 45 hertz for 11 hours and 60 hertz for an hour all the time.
I'm going to interject real quick for those who are unaware. He's talking about variable frequency drives or adjustable frequency drives depending on what iteration you're using. And what would 60 hertz be considered?
Max tilt boogie, baby.
Yeah, full speed, baby, right across.
Yeah.
And then 44 hertz is going to be ramped down.
Yeah,
right?
just a ramp. Don't need to over mix. don't need to undermix. We
Very
need
good.
to learn via time, looking at check valves, looking at discharge flow, what's too little and what's too much.
Perfect. And what's going on over here?
Yeah, so these are the sludge pumps for the heat exchangers.
Okay.
So just like the solids blend tank, both of these sets of pumps are pulling off the bottom of either digester. In this case, it's up, back in for the mixing. And in this case, it's up through a heat exchanger that has hot water going through it, heat that sludge up to 98 degrees, and back into the tank. Back to that redundancy, these are hot water mixing pumps. So the water that's produced by Cogen has to be conveyed all the time to ensure we have hot water to heat the sludge. I keep saying it, redundancy. The Cogen doesn't always work. What do we have here? 2 boilers, natural gas boilers that fire up if temperature in the hot water loop drops too low.
So Landon, you have taken us through the anaerobic digestion process. Do you just take your reduced sludge volume and send it right to the belt press or the screw press, or is there another step in the process?
There's one more step in the process. We have 2 primary anaerobic digesters, followed by a third unheated yet mixed digester. From this tank, it's fed either to a belt press or a screw press.
Okay, very cool. And so in my plant, I take supernatant off of my anaerobic digester because that's the design of it.
Yes.
You don't do that here?
This facility, we used to do that. We used to have rows upon rows of drying beds. Being that we want to be a good neighbor, we're downtown San Luis Obispo, we want to prevent that stench ultimately. And we have retained 2 drying beds kind of as a backup.
Sure.
But primarily we stay away from using those as much as we can.
Yeah.
And we use our screw press and as needed the belt press.
Absolutely. And I have to say, I've been the recipient of said stench as I filled up my truck off Prado Road, and I've been there. So little preview, maybe we're going to do a video on your state-of-the-art odor control facility.
That'd be great.
Which I am so stoked about.
Well, yeah,
but not today. Subscribe, and maybe you'll be notified when that one comes out. Okay, so these are the mixing pumps that go over there.
Yep.
You mix, and then we dewater, correct?
Correct.
So let's head that direction.
Perfect. This is our screw press. It's kind of hidden right now, but under here is a large drum. This is where we dewater that digested sludge. The water is pulled out of those solids, returned back to the head of the facility, and the solids are conveyed up this auger and into one of 2 level loaders. A good example of that sludge is on the ground right here. We have no bins. Our composter came and hauled them off for us. Got a couple of fresh bins over there we're gonna throw in for tonight's run. But you can get a sense of what the digested solids look like when we're all said and done.
That looks like
I know
compost.
it looks, yeah, exactly, compared to where we came from earlier in the video, much more of a mild product.
Drier.
Good for reuse. The drier we can get it, the better. With this existing technology, 20% cake's dryness is where we're at. Kind of crazy to think. When our composter hauls it off, it's still 80% water. 20% is all we can get. So the drier, the better. The less expense for us in hauling costs.
That's because water's heavy to ship, right? It's
Exactly.
8.34 pounds a gallon, somebody told me once. So, Landon, all this infrastructure, thickening, digestion, and we're only talking about solids here, right? You've got a ton of other technology that you've got to run at this plant. How do you manage it all? How do you keep tabs on all of this?
We have local control via HMI. The primary tool at this point is our SCADA system.
Well, can we see that?
Yeah, let's check it out.
All right. So Landon, you mentioned that you can use SCADA to control all this. Is this what we're looking at right here?
Yeah, correct, Sean. You see up here solids. These are all the facilities that we just walked through. Solids blending, I'm gonna go chronological. Solids blending, first tank we looked at. Into sludge thickening with the polymer associated with it. From there we go to digestion. And then you looked at how are those tanks heated and mixed, digester heating, digester mixing. Once that process is complete, dewatering screw press. Just show you this page here. This is our digester page. It shows all these different KPIs, key performance indicators for our 3 digesters. Hydrostatic level, radar level, gas flow, inches of water column for all tanks. 1, 2, 3 tanks. Below that, you've got feed into the tanks, how it's controlled here. And over here, you've got mixing at that 3rd unheated yet mixed tank.
Awesome. This is, I think, very, very helpful for people who haven't really seen SCADA and wonder kind of like what's going on in that control room over there. What are those guys doing?
Oh yeah, I never thought I'd be in front of the computer as much as I am as an operator, but I'm more potent and more in control. I can see more right here than I can out in the field.
Landon, thank you so much for guiding us through your process at this plant. And thank you so much to the city of San Luis Obispo. I want to give a shout out to Chris and Patrick for setting this up with Landon.
Absolutely.
And during the filming, I did ask Landon if he would be interviewed on the channel for one of my interview series, and we get to do that in person because your plant is 15 minutes away from mine. So your house or mine, it doesn't matter.
I'll come to you.
Okay, cool. And then I just again want to thank you for all of your time on explaining to us thickening, digestion, cogeneration, dewatering, and a video will be popping up on your screen very soon on the anaerobic digester video I did, where we get a little bit more into exam prep. On that one, I go on the whiteboard. It's one of my older videos, but check that out if you're interested. If you have any comments or questions for me or Landon, plop them in the comments below. Any final parting words, Landon?
Yeah, Sean, thanks for what you're doing. When I was getting my certifications, there wasn't many folks doing the educational stuff, so really appreciate it. Keep it going.
Absolutely. Thank you, Landon.
Absolutely.
Take it easy, everybody. Catch you in the next one.